ni wa Jones family last week. We, hawa ni hao this week. Kwani kuliendaje? Wa Jones family wali get maximum entertainment for less. Na sahi wako closer than close. Upgrade to GoTV Max for just 890 shillings leo. GoTV, love it.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Huyu ni Mike last week. Huyu ni yeye this week. Kwani kuliendaje? Vile Mike ni fan wa movie na futa, alibambika yake yote kupata discount ya GoTV Max. Aka get maximum entertainment for less. Sahi anajinais na the best of Serie A, La Liga and more na movie za mastaa wa nguvu majuu. Hakuna kuhata action tena.
You know what?
Upgrade to GoTV Max for just 890 shillings leo. GoTV, love it.
Sasa babe, New Year resolutions? Didn't you say the very same things last year?
A bit of pressure on how to unlock the new year 2021. Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kuamue January na 21k with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300. Optiven Limited. Experience the difference.
Young lady, you're taking too long. 2 more minutes. Nitazima stima.
2 minutes. Sawa, mom.
G-Express Visawa Sour. Enjoy the new Sour Red with the brilliant fragrance of strawberry. Sour leaves you feeling fresh for longer.
G-Express Visawa Sour.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix, that is just for me. It really feels very comfy. I don't have to stop playing. Molfix pants fits me perfectly.
An invention from Molfix just for your baby. Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
Welcome to Good Life, where we are all about you. And when we say you, we mean all of you, including the little ones. We're all about ensuring you feel better and healthier, so you enjoy every moment with the ones closest to you. A smile on your face is what we're about. That's why you'll always be welcome back to Good Life pharmacies across Kenya with the same smile on every visit. Good Life. We're all about you.
Our mega 50% off discount is extended till January 31st at Istiqbal. We offer quality, luxurious, Turkish-designed home furniture. Come and enjoy our limitless range of sofas, dining, beds, and mattresses, all tailored to meet your unique family taste. We bring the spark to your everyday space. Visit our Mombasa Road showroom at Panasar Center opposite Airtel and our flagship branch in Nakuru, Westside Mall. Don't miss out.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
This is NTV.
Well, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition. It is the last day of the month of January 2021. There are some of our top stories.
Tonight, the president is still circling the mountain with a basket full of goodies. A message for the youth and more jobs for his deputy.
Don't you want a government that comes, that makes sure that by the time you are now in leadership, you're bigger, you're better, you're brighter, you're stronger? Eh? As opposed hapa ya kukuja with fake stories.
And also tonight, Deputy President William Ruto now fires back at the president.
Nilimuunga mkono bila masharti. Rais hana deni yangu. Hakuna jamii iko na deni yangu.
Says the only debt owed is a debt of gratitude to Kenyans. Plus,
something seems to have happened with the COVID-19. And this is where we need to interrogate ourselves.
From COVID millionaires to claims that 2 billion shillings is lost daily.
Do we actually lose 2 billion shillings a day?
Auditor General Nancy Gathungu spills it all in her first TV interview since taking office. Setting off on an unmarked path, Joy Lenawalbane is blazing the trail for Samburu's women and girls. First ever female chief is crowned in Samburu.
Congregation of men.
This is Weekend Edition with Zainab Ismail.
Well, thank you so much for making time for us and for choosing NTV. On the sign language interpretation tonight is Flora Atieno. Well, we begin on the political scene where Deputy President William Ruto appeared to easily cope with the president's recent criticism. Today, he hit back saying it wasn't a must for President Kenyatta to repay his political debt as he was not owed one anyway. Speaking in Narok, the Deputy President called on him to focus on paying the debt they promised Kenyans when campaigning. NTV's senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi with more.
The worsening relationship between the president and his deputy is sliding into an all-sharp-tongued war of words. For the third day, President Kenyatta has camped in Nyeri in an attempt to undo his deputy's inroads in the region, and even as he hopes to convince the community to listen to him and shun his deputy. On Saturday, President Kenyatta was categorical that he did not owe his deputy a political debt in 2022, shattering assertions by the DP's allies from the region that the president should return the favor. But even as the president continued to throw jabs at his deputy, he seemed to take it in stride. Speaking in Narok, he dismissed the narrative that he was owed.
Wakati niliamua kuunga mkono Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta, si kumpatia masharti yoyote. Si kumwambia na kuunga mkono ndio uniunge mkono. Hapana, nilimuunga mkono bila masharti. Rais hana deni yangu. Hakuna jamii iko na deni yangu. Hakuna mtu Kenya mwenye ako na deni ya mimi kama mwanasiasa.
According to DP Ruto, political debts are never taken seriously anyway, and thus the president should not lose sleep over any debt.
Tuache kusumbuliwa na kusumbuana na madeni ya kisiasa. Mimi nataka niwaulize sisi wote, kila kiongozi, sisi tumechaguliwa, tumepatiwa nafasi kwa neema ya Mwenyezi Mungu na kwa kura za wananchi. Hakuna mtu wako na deni ya mwingine.
In 2013, fresh from a grueling election, President Kenyatta had, on an occasion in Rift Valley, promised his unequivocal support to his deputy after his 2 terms.
Wagojee miaka 10, Uhuru amalize kazi yake, alafu wagojee miaka ingine 10, Ruto amalize kazi yake. Alafu sasa wakitaka Watakuja sasa waunde yao ambayo watakuja kusema ni nani atakuwa ndani, nani atakuwa nje.
Karibisha tukikuja kule mashinani.
However, in his speech to those invited at the Sagana State Lodge, President Kenyatta, just like at the Bomas of Kenya, during the unveiling of the BBI-2, said his deputy had lost direction and was no longer interested in completing the journey they started together.
Tulisonga pamoja, hapa katikati ndio sasa 2022 ikaanza kuwa inapita. Akasahau yale mengine. Na ndio wanasema watu tutulize ball, hiyo bado itakuja.
But in a rejoinder today, DP Ruto said they had a duty to fulfill the promises they made to Kenyans.
Na hii madeni ya kisiasa tuachane nazo. Ile deni moja tu ambayo mimi najua Rais Uhuru Kenyatta ako naye. Na mimi ni mshirika wa hiyo deni kwa sababu nilichaguliwa na yeye debe moja. Ni deni ya kuwaunganisha wa Kenya na kusimamia mambo ya maendeleo ya taifa letu la Kenya.
The politics of debt repayment comes at a time ODM leader Raila Odinga is also calling on the Kikuyu community to back his presidential bid, just like he stood by former President Mwai Kibaki when he said, Kibaki tosha. Kennedy Muredhi, NTV.
Thanks, Muredhi. Now, meanwhile, in Mount Kenya, the president continued his onslaught of his deputy, dismissing his wheelbarrow narrative as a threat to the country's development agenda. The president has also taken issue with political violence witnessed in the country in the past week, asking the youth to shun leaders who incite them. NTV's Melita Oletenges now reports.
President Uhuru Kenyatta continues his quest to put his house in order, a strategy aimed at taming the traction his deputy William Ruto has gained in his political turf in the last 2 years. Moves that have earned him a following and causing mixed feelings. Today, President Kenyatta went for the jugular when he hit at his deputy for peddling the wheelbarrow narrative. The president says Ruto was only trying to win over the region through the back door.
Don't you want a government that comes, that makes sure that by the time you are now in leadership, you're bigger, you're better, you're brighter, you're stronger? Eh? As opposed hapa ya kukuja with fake stories. What this country requires is institutional change. It is a change of mindset. It is a change to liberate our people, their minds, to liberate them, to be able to be self-sufficient and independent.
Really? Speaking to the youth from different counties in Mount Kenya, President Kenyatta expressed his distaste with the political chaos witnessed in the last week. He also went ahead to use the forum to champion the Building Bridges Initiative report among the youth.
We have laid a solid foundation that has been built on previous foundations. Don't destroy that foundation in search of false hope.
As his popularity in the region is said to be fleeting and politics of his succession unraveling, President Kenyatta says there is no doubt he shall have a say in who succeeds him for the region, but the final decision rests with the people.
It is about continuity. Mimi nitaenda mwaka ujao. You must make sure that you protect the gains that we have made so far and you make sure they are added onto, so that by the time you come, by the time you are in the driving wheel, you have a prosperous country.
President Kenyatta also inspected the progress of the Chaka market that is under construction, promising it will be open to traders in a month's time. Melita Oletenges, NTV.
And it wasn't just the president who was endearing himself to the youth. His handshake partner, ODM leader Raila Odinga, has called on the youth to support constitutional changes through the BBI, saying they stood to benefit greatly from its contents. Odinga, who was speaking in Vihiga, also hit out at Deputy President William Ruto for his disassociation with the government's failure to deliver on pledges. NTV's Zakes Mosame with more.
ODM leader Raila Odinga was in Hamise constituency, Vihiga County, where he held a meeting with a group of youth to rally them behind the BBI. Raila assured them that their interests will be protected should the proposed constitutional amendment through the BBI see the light of the day.
Unasema wewe ndio mshauri yake. Ati wewe ndio unamshauri sawa sawa. Mambo imeenda mrama namna gani? Sisi hatuko kule ndani. Wewe mwenyewe ndio ulituambia sisi. Ati mkiingia ndani ya miezi 6 kila shule, kila mtoto atakuwa na laptop. Wale ambao uliwaahidi ya laptop wanakwenda kufanya darasa ya 8 sasa. Hawajaona laptop. Umeona hiyo laptop? Umeona hiyo laptop?
The AU Special Envoy for Infrastructure Development also turned his guns on Deputy President William Ruto, accusing him of distancing himself from the failures of a government he serves in.
Nyinyi mmekuwa huko, sisi hatujakuwa kwa serikali. Sisi tuko nje tunafanya tu ushauri. Ati hiyo ODM imekuwa ndani ya serikali. Nani ya ODM yuko waziri? Maana waziri wa ODM? Unipatie jina. Umeona hiyo?
Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya and his Vihiga counterpart Wilberforce Otichilo echoed Odinga's sentiments and assured him of the region's support.
And we cannot develop this country when we are telling our youth the only thing we can do for you is to give you wheelbarrows. Na unasema kazi ni kazi.
So I want to support BBI, and I believe when the assembly opens next week, that will be the agenda. And I'm meeting them next week to ensure that the first agenda should be the BBI.
Zakes Masame, NTV, Vihiga.
And staying with leaders ganging up against the DP, a section of those allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga accused the Deputy President of being impatient and constantly undermining the President's authority. Listen in.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has been very bold. And that is why Wiper decided to have a cooperation agreement with Jubilee so that this country can be stable. I was Kibaki's vice president for 5 years. Niko kanati omba itu. Mheshimiwa Kibaki alilala salama, akastaafu kwa heshima yote. I can't understand how William Ruto has deputized President Uhuru Kenyatta 5 years, muhula wa kwanza, another 3 years now, na katika kipindi cha lala salama anamruka na kuleta wheelbarrow.
Tuache kuficha wale wa jamaa ambao tunajua wanaharibu dunia hii. Call them out for what they are. If you think I'm one of those who needs to be called out, call me out. But they are there and you know them. Tusidanganyane bana. What happened in some of these areas? These are planned things.
Well, let's shift our focus to the COVID-19 situation in the country now. And 98 new COVID-19 cases have been recorded from 3,739 samples tested in the past 24 hours, pushing the total to 100,773. 8 more people have succumbed, raising the death toll to 1,763. The national tally of recoveries increased by 52 to stand at 83,907. 29 of the patients were discharged from hospital, while 23 were on home-based care and isolation. 471 patients are admitted in healthcare facilities countrywide, while 1,408 are under home-based isolation and care. Of those in hospital, 25 are under intensive care. Well, residents of Kapsita village in Molo sub-county are in shock following the death of 60-year-old Margaret Wanjiru Mushiri, who was allegedly murdered by her son-in-law. Stephen Marigi stormed Margaret's home on Saturday night with a knife, looking for his wife, who ran away from home owing to long-standing marital conflicts. Ruth Sarmoy with the details.
Family and friends gathered at Chogocho village in Elbagon, Molo sub-county, to confront their grief. Margaret Wanjiru Mushiri's murder stirred the village. Her daughter, Hannah Muthoni, accuses the husband, Stephen Marigi, of killing her. He is said to have stormed her home Saturday night with a knife, looking for his runaway wife.
Huyo kijana alikuwa anakuja kunikuta mimi, si mama yangu alikuwa anakuja kukuta. Mimi ndio alikuwa anakuja kukuta. Aliua mama yangu juu yangu.
Her mother intervened, a selfless act that took her life.
Akimuuliza ni nini unakujia huku na hakuna kitu yako huku, na hata hujatoa mali. Unakuja kukuta msichana yangu huku, na hata una adabu.
Muthoni had left their troubled and sometimes violent marriage 5 months ago and has been hiding in her mother's house.
Sasa venye tulikaa huko jikoni, tukakaa kidogo. Tena akakuja, huyo ndugu yangu mdogo akamusikia, akatoka. Sasa alitangulia kudunga huyo ndugu yangu, naye mama akafuata huyo ndugu yangu. Sasa venye mama alifuata huyo ndugu yangu, wakakutana naye kwa mlango, akamdunga kisu. Sasa sijui kama alimdunga kifua ama ni wapi. Mama akarudi jikoni. Siku anasema amedungwa, alikuwa anaenda kuchukua kuni sasa amkute nayo. Kumbe mama alikuwa amedungwa, akaanguka jikoni, nikamvuruta.
According to the family, this is not the first time Marigi has caused a stir at their home.
Akiambia awache. Kazi yake tu ni kuvuruga nyumbani. Hata mama kukuwa anakaa na imani.
Vijana wajifundishe sana na hawa wanafanya hivyo. Na wajua hiyo si ruhusa, kwa sababu huyu anaua huyu na utakoja kuuawa. Utarudi hapa. Si useme ati utawana na urudi hapa. Mimi naambia hii vijana wakomeze hiyo pombe kukunywa.
35-year-old Marigi is receiving treatment at Elbagon Sub-County Hospital in the custody of police officers after he was rescued from angry villagers baying for his blood. Ruth Sarmoy, NTV.
Well, we hope justice will certainly be served. Well, Joy Lenalwalbane will go down in history as the first female chief in Samburu County after decades of endless calls to empower the girl child and achieve gender equality and equity. Joy's appointment has shattered the glass ceiling and now paves the way for many other young women to take up leadership roles in a mostly patriarchal society. NTV witnessed the colorful crowning ceremony, and Gina Kirori now brings us those details.
A congregation of men walking the distance for a special occasion. Traditional song and dance reigning in the air here at remote sublocation in Samburu East. And the blaze of colors on the ladies undoubtedly signaling the promise of a new dawn. Sandwiched between the men and at the very forefront is the person this event is dedicated to, Joy Lenalwalbane, the first female to hold the seat of chief in Samburu County. Samburu elders cleansed the path leading to the office that Joy will now hold. It is here that they conducted rituals and prayers to protect the new chief. The elders also dedicated her new office to the public in their presence, as well as several leaders including the sub-county security team. After this, members of the public were led to the shade for her inauguration ceremony, where young and old combined to witness history in the making, with details given on the selection of their new chief.
Walifanya interview kama watu wanne. Na kama vile mnajua iko panel ambayo inafanyanga interview kuweza kuselect the best candidate.
Kupata chief ya kwanza ambaye ni mama katika kaunti ya Samburu.
And emerged the best she did, but it hasn't been an easy path to this moment. She grew up poor in a family of 4. She was the only one of her siblings who was taken to school and lost her father while in class 3. This forced her and her mother to venture into the business of selling illicit brew to provide for the family and raise her school fees.
Ilikuwa wakati nilianza ilikuwa ngumu sana, lakini vile sasa nimeona hii kazi imekuwa rahisi, kwa hivyo naona nitaendelea kusoma ili nipate kuendelea kupanda in the next few years or let's say few years ningependa kuwa ACC.
Joy had been serving as chief in acting capacity following the retirement of Kewadle Kalkuli in 2018. Her male counterparts have also challenged other women to take up leadership positions. Top of her agenda is tackling early child marriages and female genital mutilation in the community by ensuring all girls go to school. She will also strive to enhance security in the region.
Mambo siku hizi ya kukaa kuongoja mzee akuletea sukari, mzee akununulie mboga, hiyo wakati ilisha. Kwa hivyo sasa kuvaa viatu na kung'ang'ana na kuona kwamba hata wewe unafanya kazi.
The special day will also be archived in Joy's phone gallery as an unforgettable one, as she documented each moment on her phone. And as she chimed into the traditional song and dance with fellow women, she may just be paving a now well-beaten path for them. Gena Kirori, NTV.
Thanks, Nina, for that report, and congratulations to Joy for that appointment. Indeed, a milestone and breaking the glass ceiling, especially for the young girls in Samburu. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Oya ni aje, mimi ndo Jonte Fresh. Mimi ndio nimetambulika hii Gikomba yote sekta ya manguo. Jumio transform nguo ordinary za mtush zenye ziuka mna hii harufu ya bail into the freshest igikosi yote. Siri ni hii Ariel mpya ya pink. Na kushow mtush zinang'ara kung'ara kushinda kamera. So clean, so fresh. Ma customer unaisana na hii story. Ninatumia Ariel touch of down mpya tu.
I have learned that you're not too young to start investing. The earlier you invest, the better for your future. My name is Ruth Waidera Mwangi. I'm a sales and marketing professional. My journey with UAP Old Mutual began about 4 years ago. My first meeting with Simon was over a cup of coffee. He showed me a couple of simulations of how my money would grow over time, and it opened my mind to the idea of investment. Old Mutual is very personal and human in their approach. You are able to see a partner who cares about you, who takes your investment seriously as if it's their own investment. It does show the surety and how solid UAP Old Mutual is.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Sasa babe, New Year resolutions? Didn't you say the very same things last year?
A bit of pressure on how to unlock the new year 2021? Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kuamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300. Optiven Limited. Experience the difference.
From your first day at school to you captaining your soccer team, no matter how old you are, you'll always be my baby. That's why I trust Dettol to clean, protect, and keep you refreshed every day. I still can't believe how quickly you've grown. Dettol, tested effective against COVID-19.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white clothes, towels, and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
I'm in Watamu along Kenya's coastline, which is commonly associated with tourists and white sandy beaches. But the locals have found hidden treasures in butterfly farming.
When I go back to school, I hope that I can sit for my exams without being disturbed by another lockdown, and I hope that I would have managed to thoroughly keep up with my studies by then also.
Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Admission for January, February and May intakes is ongoing. Apply now. SMS your details to the numbers on your screen. Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Growing reputation.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition. Now, Nancy Gathungu assumed the office of Auditor General on the 17th of July 2020 at a time when the country had not had a substantive Auditor General for 11 months. Over the last 6 months, a backlog of delayed audit reports and the contentious audit of COVID-19 funds has put Gathungu on the spotlight. Well, tonight, Nancy Gathungu takes stock with Julian Samboko, highlighting issues around the audit of KEMSA, the pending bills contested by the counties, the autonomy of the office, and whether the taxpayer actually loses 2 billion shillings daily, as stated by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Take a look.
Welcome to this special conversation with the Auditor General, Madam Nancy Gathungu, who was sworn into office on the 17th of July 2020 after a protracted wait given the exit of office by the predecessor, that is Mr. Edward Oko. Welcome on set.
Thank you very much, Mboko.
I remember when you were being sworn into office, one of your key indications was that your priority was to clear the backlog. And indeed, we know of companies which had not even released their results because they were waiting for a substantive occupant to the office of the Auditor General. How has it been thus far?
Mboko, it has not been very easy clearing that backlog because as we are clearing the backlog, the 2019-2020 financial year also came to an end, and we needed to embark on planning and start carrying out those audits. But what we did is I formed a team to assist in planning, and what we did is we agreed to cluster in terms of prioritization. And we started with the donor-funded projects, with the listed companies, the banks, the regulatory authorities, and those ones I've already issued, and those reports are in Parliament. The second cluster involved what we call them MDAs, the ministries, departments, and agencies, state departments, counties, and their funds. And I'm about to complete that. And at the same time, as we've been auditing the state departments, we are also compiling the final report. We normally issue one main report. So immediately I sign off the last fund under national government, I shall be issuing the final report so that Parliament can embark on examining that report. I've issued about 25 county reports, both executive and assembly. That makes about 50 reports. And currently, I've also issued, because donor-funded projects are supposed to be prioritized, and we do prioritize them. I've issued the donor-funded projects for 2019-2020 concurrently with clearing the backlog. So it has been quite a lot of work, including the backlog on specialized audits and performance audits.
Staying with the issue of the backlog, why is this a perennial challenge? Is it that the office is understaffed? Are you facing legal challenges? Why do we have this perennial issue? Granted, we took a very long time before we had an occupant in this office after your predecessor left. But really, what's the underlying issue here?
This particular backlog is unique because it took about 11 months before I was appointed or I came into office. So that is unique. It's unprecedented. But we sometimes have delays in finalizing our reports according to the constitutional or legal timelines because of various challenges. Inadequate funding, so that we are not able to do in-year audits as we should, so that when we are doing the financial statements audit at the end of the financial year, we should be able to work faster if we're able to do prior audits, compliance and in-year audits. So that has been a challenge. Of course, inadequate number of staff is there. You can't employ as many people as you can given the funding issue. But generally speaking, this office has cleared. A long time ago, we used to have backlogs of 1 year, 2 years. Currently, we can say the office is not in backlog except for this unique one. Parliament is the one now that is a little bit behind, but they're also catching up with us pretty quickly.
One of the realities of the environment under which you took over this office was the COVID-19 expenditure, which, as you know, has elicited a lot of interest out here. Let's start with the counties. The Senate did direct that you conduct a special audit of how the funds allocated. I think it was about 5 billion shillings was spent. What are the findings here?
Even before the Senate requested that we carry out special audits, as an office, we realized that COVID-related expenditures in the entire country, given the kind of information that was out there, was what we call a high-risk area. And we already embarked on planning on how we'd audit at the entity level all COVID-related expenditure. Now, the Senate made 2 requests through the ad hoc committee on COVID-19 and through the health committee. And one of the requests was on KEMSA, and the other request was on the county governments. The report on KEMSA is already issued and it's going through parliamentary examination. The report for the 47 counties is also issued, but it is awaiting hearings at Parliament. So I may not speak to the issues now until Parliament tables that report when they come from recess. And then it will be in the public domain.
Speaking about high-risk areas, and now that you've mentioned KEMSA, based on your audit conducted thus far, what really was the problem at hand? Because there is a view that there was a systemic failure in the system as to how we have a safety valve against misappropriation of funds. But really, in your interrogation and investigation, what have you found underlying the KEMSA issue?
The broad areas, because there's still also investigations going on based on some of our reports and what Parliament is discussing, was in procurement processes. And it was surprising to us also as an audit office, because KEMSA has been one of our good institutions when we audit. We don't query much because their systems are in place, their IT systems are in place, their operations have been above board. But something seems to have happened with the COVID-19. And this is where we need to interrogate ourselves, not just KEMSA, but as a country. Do we have a robust legal framework to address disasters and pandemics and crises? Is our budgeting process on board? Is it timely? Is our communication amongst the entities, either between KEMSA, MOH, KEMSA, Treasury, MOH, Treasury, is it properly done? So the main areas was basically on procurement. Other issues, of course, are coming out as Parliament continues with its examination.
There has been the view that has been advanced that perhaps the challenge was the fact that, as you rightly mentioned, KEMSA was traditionally one of the star entities when it comes to audit processes, and maybe we created a moral hazard because we felt, oh, this one is well above board. Do you think then we did create that challenge within the system ourselves?
I think we can only conclude that after doing in-depth analysis of what exactly happened. And once the reports are out, then we should be able to reflect back, look at lessons learned, and then come up with methods of improving.
Still within the subject of COVID-19 expenditure, the COVID-19 emergency fund, there isn't much visibility as to how the expenditure has taken place and how this is being audited. Are you involved in this process?
COVID-19 related expenditures audit are under the purview of the Auditor General. Apart from KEMSA, apart from the counties, we are also auditing the national response, the national government's response to COVID-19, and the fund is under that. And currently the report on that, including the COVID-19 fund, is under review, the review process, and I shall issue that report in due course.
Okay. So you can't indicate at this point?
At this point, because it's not a complete, it's not completed, it's not finalized. I cannot go into the details.
We are getting into the budget season, and one recurrent issue we normally have is the state of IFMIS, the Financial Information Management System. And indeed, we've had even a special audit being commissioned regarding IFMIS and the vulnerability to leakages when it comes to the resource envelope. How is this going, the audit process?
We've been auditing IFMIS over time since inception. And what happens is that every few years there's either an upgrade of the system, an update of the system, or an improvement of the system based on some of the weaknesses that come up, either during our audits or during internal assessments by the National Treasury, or when the clients, state departments and counties raise issues. Now, the audit that we are currently doing for IFMIS, it's a follow-up of an audit that we did and issued in 2016, and checking on whether recommendations are being implemented, whether control weaknesses have been strengthened, just basically looking at have we implemented what we agreed that we should implement to improve IFMIS. But Mboko, I need to say something about IFMIS and IT systems, that sometimes we blame the IT systems when it's not the IT systems at fault, it's the human element. If people are going to exploit weaknesses and do something that is negative, either siphon funds or not record, or sometimes if people basically work outside IFMIS, because we've seen that, especially in some of the entities, we can't always blame the system. Let's strengthen the system, yes, but also let's look at the human IT or interaction. Yeah, because that's where the weakness is, the human element.
You've just mentioned that we periodically do upgrades to address any inherent vulnerabilities, if I could call them that. Are there some that you could point to us that you observe as a challenge with IFMIS?
One of the main challenges has been IFMIS lack of, or rather the challenge of trying to generate comprehensive financial statements as required by the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board. That has been an issue. I use IFMIS as the Office of the Auditor General, and that is an issue we've also raised with the National Treasury, and that's what they've been working on to improve.
Speaking about leakages, and now that we're talking about IFMIS, many Kenyans out here are curious to know, do we actually lose 2 billion shillings a day? And I think there is no one who would be more competent to let us know whether this is the case or not, other than yourself.
I think I would want to leave that to the person who talked about the 2 billion, because you know that is somebody who is privy to probably intelligence information that says that we are losing 2 billion. But for us, what we do is we consolidate what is not accounted for. And in our reports, you'll see where we say, for example, these particular entities did not account for this amount. Then we consolidate and we say this has not been accounted for, and follow up on that.
There are pervasive concerns around the appointment of third-party auditors and the process that you go through before you do that, because this is critical just for, to bring to public awareness how the audit process goes and the findings, etc. Could you just give us some sense of how this is conducted?
The Public Audit Act allows the Auditor General to outsource audits. And there are various reasons why the Auditor General can or should outsource audits. And one of the reasons or challenges that we face is some of the entities we audit are highly complex in terms of ownership structure. For example, the listed companies, you'll find that they're partly owned by the government, partly owned by private investors, partly owned by citizens who have bought shares in them. And their operations sometimes are highly complicated, like in the energy sector. And we are still building capacity to audit some of those entities comprehensively. But the private auditors have this capacity because they pool resources from their global pool. Now, another challenge, of course, is the stringent timelines required by the Capital Markets Authority of some of these entities. And of course, our problem of funding, that sometimes it will release us and the little funds we have to audit counties and audit ministries and allow private auditors to audit these listed companies, and then they pay for that. Now, the process of audit follows, the process of recruiting or appointing these auditors follows the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. The entities, I give authority for the entities to procure, and I oversight that process. Then I appoint the auditor who now comes up as tops in that. So that is the process that we follow.
Crossing over to matters of compensation, one long-running conversation has been about the audit of the compensation of land in relation to the standard gauge railway. Would you care to comment on this matter? Again, that was one of the backlog. And we did carry out an audit of the National Land Commission with regard to the payments on compensation on behalf of other government entities. And a component, the standard gauge railway was one of the components. And I issued that report, and it was highlighted in the media. So now we're just waiting for the parliamentary process to continue. Still on matters of projects, when you look at the issues around the Turkana wind power project with regard to the determination of the cost of the Loyangalani-Suswa line, it's another matter which has been in the public domain. A lot of discussion around it, the audit being conducted. How far are we with this? Yes, we have been auditing the Loyangalani Suswa evacuation line. It's also part of the backlog. As I said, the backlog was not just on the financial audits, it was also on the specialized audits. And I'm currently, that report is currently under review, and I shall issue it in due course, yeah. The backlog, I mean, keeps on coming up recurrently. And let me ask this question then. Do you feel we have a bit of misalignment as far as the legal framework is concerned in terms of enhancing the ease with which you can execute this mandate of audits that is looking at the Constitution and various acts like the PFM Act? The Constitution is clear on the mandate of the Auditor General, and this has been, of course, operationalized by the Public Audit Act. The Public Finance Management Act is also very robust, including the regulations. But where we find misalignment is when you look at the Constitution, it says, or it provides for 6 months for the Auditor General to audit and report after the end of the financial year. And that is what's known out there in the public domain, that the Auditor General has 6 months to audit and report. But the Public Finance Management Act now comes in and gives the entities 3 months to prepare their financial statements and submit to the Auditor General. That hives off half the time period that the Auditor General has been given by the Constitution. So that is one of the areas I'm advocating, that we must change, or we must amend the Public Audit Act and reduce the timelines given to the entities from 3 months, within 3 months, to within 1 month. Now, these entities, they're automated, they have IFMIs, they have ERPs, including state corporations. They are required to produce quarterly financial statements. So it is just the last quarter and the consolidated financial statements that they need to prepare. You don't require 3 months to prepare financial statements if you have been in charge of the processes. That will buy us two additional months, which were hived off by the Public Finance Management Act. Okay. And still within that point then, do you feel there is a weakness within internal controls, yeah, or the mechanisms through which then this can be actualized to ensure then that the situation as you envision it is actually what materializes? Yeah. That is a major problem. You have entities, you have accounting officers, they have all this staff they've recruited to carry out the functions, but they're not doing it as they should. There are weaknesses in internal controls. Internal auditors are not being used as they should, because if internal auditors were facilitated and were strengthened, then we would not have these perennial weaknesses in the system. The entities would solve them. The accounting officers would solve and put in measures and mechanisms to solve some of these issues in real time if you're using your internal auditor, as opposed to waiting for when the external auditor comes to point it out, and you have the resources within your system to address some of these areas. So yes, there is a problem there in terms of internal controls.
And that is just part one of that candid conversation with Auditor General Nancy Gathungu. We'll be taking a short break. We'll be coming back again with part 2, so stay with us.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Ruiru Mabati Factory offers best quality mabati at the most affordable prices. We pride in our 10 years experience. Our products have 15 years warranty and are KEBS certified. We manufacture box profile, Europe tile, Jenga tile, corrugated S-profile, among others, in a wide variety of colors. Enjoy our free delivery in just 72 hours. To order, call us now on 0111 050 700. Ruiru Mabati Factory, Mali Safi kwa bei poa.
Welcome to our new office. Wonderful sight. Just imagine 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the parking is, and then the warehouse front door here, the reception here, and the fridges here. The lorry's entrance there, and their exit there. One way only. What is it?
So where is the building?
Fast, stress-free construction. Get your factory-made buildings in 10 weeks with SafBuild. Order yours now. SafBuild, a quality building solution from MRM.
Rely on Ramrod tanks for all your hygienic water storage solutions. Our affordable tanks are manufactured with the highest quality of virgin food-grade material. Our products are KEBS certified and come with a 10-year warranty. Call us to place an order or visit us at Ramrod Godowns, Bamburi Road, Athi River. Buy one and get free airtime. Ramrod tanks, standing the test of time.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Our mega 50% off discount is extended till January 31st at Istiqbal. We offer quality, luxurious, Turkish-designed home furniture. Come and enjoy our limitless range of sofas, dining, beds, and mattresses, all tailored to meet your unique family taste. We bring the spark to your everyday space. Visit our Mombasa Road showroom at Panasar Center opposite Airtel and our flagship branch in Nakuru Westside Mall. Don't miss out.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
From your first day at school to you captaining your soccer team, no matter how old you are, you'll always be my baby. That's why I trust Dettol to clean, protect, and keep you refreshed every day. I still can't believe how quickly you've grown. Dettol, tested effective against COVID-19.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
I trust Dettol to clean, protect, and keep you refreshed every day. I still can't believe how quickly you've grown. Dettol, tested effective against COVID-19.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Sasa babe, New Year resolutions? Didn't you say the very same things last year?
A bit of pressure on how to unlock the new year 2021? Select a plot of value-added land within Garden of Joy gated community off Koma Kennel Road, Machakos. Now kuamue January na 21K with Optiven. Call us now on 0790 300 300. Optiven Limited. Experience the difference.
Maji mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
Mdosi wako kwa sawa. Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hi guy, what
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
Did you know at Ruiru Mabati Factory you can open an account and lipa pole pole at your convenience? Did you know at Ruiru Mabati Factory you can get customized sizes according to your roof plan to avoid wastage? Did you know Ruiru Mabati Factory offers free delivery countrywide within 72 hours? Call us now on 0111 050 700. Ruiru Mabati Factory, mali safi kwa bei poa.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
I'm in Watamu along Kenya's coastline, which is commonly associated with tourists and white sandy beaches. But the locals have found hidden treasures in butterfly farming.
When I go back to school, I hope that I can sit for my exams without being disturbed by another lockdown, and I hope that I would have managed to thoroughly keep up with my studies by then also.
Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Admission for January, February and May intakes is ongoing. Apply now. SMS your details to the numbers on your screen. Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Growing reputation.
Welcome to this special conversation with the Auditor General, Madam Nancy Gadungu, who was sworn into office. One of the anchors of your office is really its autonomy and independence. But when you look at the budgetary allocations, do you feel that you're adequately resourced to exercise your mandate in a very autonomous manner?
Mboko, when you are assessing the independence of the Office of the Auditor General, world over, there are various parameters that we look at. First of all, is there a broad legal framework in terms of the Constitution and the public and a Public Audit Act, or a public or a legal framework for public audit apart from the Constitution? Then we look at how is the Auditor General appointed, and is there security of tenure? And then we look at the mandate. Is the mandate broadly specified? And I have to say our Constitution and the Public Audit Act has gone a long way in ensuring the independence of this office. However, for the Auditor General and the Office of the Auditor General to be completely independent, even in terms of mandate, in terms of activities, in terms of operations, you need funding. Now, funding is the base for all independence. If you're not adequately funded, then it erodes away all other independence that we have gained through the Constitution and the Public Audit Act. And I must say that is where, as an audit office, because we go through peer reviews, that is where we get scored very low in terms of financial independence, because we have to go through the National Treasury, who is our key client. That is where we also score very low as a country in terms of the independence of the Auditor General. So we are not adequately resourced. If we were, we'd be able to do in-year audits. We'd be able to provide recommendations, raise issues before the end of the financial year. There would be implementation. By the time the financial year is coming to a close, the reporting or the reports that come out or that are issued by the entities, the financial statements, they'll already have amended and, of course, put in the necessary measures and strengthen the internal controls. But now we are coming in at the end. Yeah, funding is key.
And just a clarification on that point you've raised. Is your view then that we should decouple the Office of the Auditor General from the National Treasury to the extent that budget estimates must come from that side? How would you envision it working then?
What I'm advocating is that we know the entire budget of the country. We know that that budget needs to be audited or oversighted. Then can we have a percentage of that budget ring-fenced, created in form of a fund for the Office of the Auditor General, such that when the budget expands, like when we had this pandemic, when we're having this pandemic, you know, the budget had to expand because of the various measures that the government had to put in place. Then, consequently, the budget of the Office of the Auditor General needs to expand so that we can oversight on that expanded budget. We can look at the projects that are being implemented, but that has not been the case. So we are advocating a percentage of the national budget and a fund that is created and ring-fenced and protected.
Let's talk about pending bills. There was an audit that was conducted. We ended up with the eligible versus the ineligible pending bills. We understand that a number of counties wrote back to Treasury and said, no, we don't agree with these figures, especially on the eligibility part. Can this be sent back to the Auditor General? First, how far are you with this? And second, what really is the underlying problem around pending bills? Because year in, year out, it's an issue. It was even one of the stimulus packages under the COVID-19 relief.
Pending bills has become a serious issue in this country, and I don't know whether the entities that are not paying for services received or for goods delivered are realizing that that is part of what's killing the economy. Because the SMEs that supply these goods and services need to be paid so that they can also pay the taxes, so that there's increased revenue collection and build their businesses. Now, I am not very comfortable that year in, year out, the National Treasury requests the Auditor General to go and confirm what is eligible and what is eligible to pay, because that makes me part of the operations of the entities. Now, we talked about internal controls. If the internal controls in those entities are working, if the internal auditors are working, they should be able to know within the entity whether the bills they have are eligible or ineligible. Unless we are saying the entire system has collapsed and there's nobody in those entities that can stand up and be counted to say what the truth of the matter is. National Treasury has requested, it's in the public domain, that we do another audit. I am considering that because it is important, but we must address the root cause. Why are we not paying the bills? Is it lack of money? Are we overstretching ourselves? Are we taking on programs that were not budgeted for in the first place? Or are we just having fiscal indiscipline? Can't pay, won't pay. So those things need to be looked at.
One of the grave concerns out here regarding your office is that whereas you might do a stellar job as far as audit and recommendations are concerned, implementation and sanctions are the weak point. Do you share this view?
Yes, that has been an issue with us. There is a weakness on our side and there is a weakness on the side of those who should be implementing the audit recommendations. Now, first of all, on our side, and this is something I started addressing from the onset, it's about tracking the audit recommendations that we've issued and looking at what are the cross-cutting issues, because some of these audit recommendations are not specific or unique to an entity. They are cross-cutting across the country. So we need to find out what needs to be done to address those issues. Now, secondly is on the side of implementation. We issue audit recommendations. Parliament also issues its final reports. Now, the onus is on the entities and the executive to ensure that those recommendations are implemented so that when we come the following year to audit, at least there's some improvement. But there is this perennial cycle of us reporting. Our audit reports sometimes are very disappointing because we will start a paragraph with as reported in the prior year. And that is not good for an auditor. You feel like you've not achieved much. So we are looking at the sanctions that are advocated in the Public Audit Act, and we want to harmonize with the sanctions that are advocated in the Public Finance Management Act to ensure that action takes place and there are consequences for not implementing the audit recommendations, and they are harmonized.
The audit of debt in this country is a matter of great interest. As a matter of fact, your predecessor had a lot of points to say about the Eurobond and the audit issues around it. Just keen to know your thoughts around the whole audit process when it comes to focusing on public debt and whether we are still focusing on this matter of Eurobonds or it was a case closed entirely.
It is important that we get full disclosure information. It's in the public limelight that public debt is a source of concern for this country. And that is part of our mandate. We are mandated to audit all expenditures, all entities, including public debt. It's actually specified in the Constitution that we audit public debt. We did audit Eurobond, and we did issue a report in 2019 that is to Parliament. So we expect now Parliament to take it up from there.
Are you bothered that since 2019 we are still, waiting on Parliament on this matter?
Because I'm not privy, or I've not been privy to what Parliament or how Parliament is planning to consider the report, or whether maybe they did make a decision. I'm not privy to that. So this could be an area that I may need to find out. Because if there were recommendations, as we continue auditing public debt, and there is a unit that have recently set up specific to look at some of this area as part of performance audit on public debt, because it's in the public limelight and we have to respond to what's the stakeholders are clamoring for. Then we need to follow up from there and see what recommendations are implemented. Even if not through Parliament, but because the report was also issued to the National Treasury, probably we'll find out if they have implemented.
One of the challenges we have around our assessment of public debt is just the opacity of the nature of the contracts we enter into. And one question I get recurrently is the Office of the Auditor General given access to the knowledge and the information around, for example, what collateral is attached to some of the debt we secure from various entities, whether it is a commercial or non-commercial?
I think I have, I'm now taking up the mantle. I have not had any complaints about not getting adequate information when it comes to public debt, especially on that particular Eurobond audit, because the audit was actually done and finalized and issued So I may have to find out moving forward as we restructure ourselves, as we continue engaging with the National Treasury and the Public Debt Unit, can we come to an agreement on how we will proceed so that we get full disclosure, full information. And if that's not forthcoming, the Public Audit Act is very clear on availing documents to the Auditor General.
You've got very strong sentiments around full accounting and the visibility that you need to have around the declaration of our asset position, our liability position, whether it is with the MDAs, whether it is with the county governments. How far are you with this?
Amboko, that's an area that I have taken up as one of the areas that I'm advocating for, because this country needs now more than ever to go into accrual accounting, so that there's full disclosure of both assets and liabilities. We need to actually have them disclosed and put in the financial statements, not as appendices or annexures, but full disclosure. Again, if we go to accrual accounting, the accounting officers are able to even gauge themselves and measure where are you heading in terms of your budgeting, where are you heading in terms of your work plans, where are you having, because we stop calling pending bills and we call them liabilities, that you owe money. This is not a term that is camouflaged, but it actually comes out that this is actually liabilities that you need to pay. So I've been in communication with the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board. I've also raised this matter with the National Treasury, that we need to fast-track this moving to accrual accounting. We have been sort of shifting it every year, but I think it's time now we looked at it in terms of, can we disclose our assets? Because can we disclose our liabilities? Can we have more clear information out there, published and publicized?
The state of the country's wage bill is a matter of grave interest, and one of the issues around it is the subject of ghost workers. Yeah. When you go through your audit process and you're looking at the country's wage bill and how it's weighing on the taxpayer, what steps are being made, especially in terms of weeding out this? And this is in two fronts. One is on the month-to-month payroll. The other is on the pension side, because pension fund are again a huge burden on the exchequer. If you could just shed some light on this.
Yeah. That is a source of concern, because wage bill is part of recurrent expenditure. And when you have a huge wage bill, it means resources that should go to development are going to recurrent expenditure. And we have to look at what is the root cause of the rising wage bill. Is it salary increase? I doubt. Is it numbers? Maybe. And most likely it's the numbers. And we have to look at what happened. For example, let's go to counties, for example. We had the defunct local authority staff. Then counties came on board. New employees were employed. New staff were employed. Then we went to another tranche. Additional staff were employed. Then we had national government staff that were also devolved, or for the devolved operations that are there. So we need to address that. Do we need to continue recruiting? I don't know. Or do we need to ensure that the people we have are utilized as effectively as possible, so that there's proper impact? And if people are utilized properly, then you find that you can do better with less. But when you have too many people, even sharing 8 hours of work, some people might be idle. So what we're doing now, we want to, it's part of the audits that we're looking at. How can we address this issue? How can we go in depth into the issue of human resource? And we want to go into data analytics just to compare. This is a wage bill. These are the numbers. These are the grades. These are the salaries. Is there an issue? Then if there's an issue, then you either know this could be, as you're calling them, what did you call them? Ghost workers. Or there could be another issue altogether. It's us looking at our methodology for auditing this area.
Okay, so just to be clear, you wouldn't have a sense of how bad the situation is for the ghost workers as it is?
Unless I do a special audit, because I know most entities have been doing headcounts and weeding out, unless now I carry out a special audit, a comprehensive special audit. At the moment, I wouldn't be able to say specifically without concrete data, and I wouldn't want to speculate.
The matter of great discussion out here right now is the subject of expenditure around COVID-19, and for understandable reasons. We've had an economic cost, we've had a health cost, and your office has largely been looked at as the last bastion of hope as far as laying to the table what the situation actually is. What guarantee can you give Kenyans?
We will continue doing the audit for COVID-19. The remaining audits are going to be issued. The issues we are raising are going to be highlighted. Currently, every entity that disclosed that they've expended COVID-19 funds is also being audited. And what we're going to do is consolidate these reports so that we have a high-level view of what is happening or what has been happening. And what I'm planning to do is issue in the summary report the cross-cutting issues with regard to how we responded to COVID-19. Because Mboko, it's not only about COVID-19, it's about future pandemics, it's about future disasters, it's about future crises. Are we ready? Are we prepared? And can we manage it when lives and livelihoods are at stake?
And that point by Madam Nancy Gedungu takes us to the close of our conversation, where we've been focusing on her role as the Auditor General, matters of expenditure public, whether it's at the county level or national level. Stay tuned to NTV for more programming.
Welcome to NTV Sport. I'm Watson Karuma. Now, Tusker FC jumped top of the Football Kenya Federation Premier League thanks to a hard-fought 1-0 win over Mathare United. In the match played at the Moi International Sports Centre Kasarani, forward Luke Namanda scored the winning goal in the second half to secure the Brewers' victory. Tusker now have 23 points, one ahead of KCB, who moved to second place. Elsewhere, defending champions Gor Mahia outclassed Bandari FC, beating them 3-1 at the Mbaraki grounds in Mombasa. Kogalo's Jules Ulimwengu scored a brace with Nicholas Kipkirui netting the third goal. Bandari's lone goal came from Bernard Odhiambo in the other match of the day. Zoo FC lost 2-1 to Nzoia Sugar. Zoo remain at the bottom of the 18-team table with just 6 points. Now, Africa Games 5,000 meters champion Robert Kiprop and newcomer Daisy Cherotich beat a strong field of athletes to win the 30th edition of the Discovery Kenya Cross Country Championships held in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County today. Kiprop clocked 30 minutes, 17.8 seconds to win the senior men's 10-kilometer race. And Nicholas Kimeli finished in second, while Rogers Kwemoi sealed the podium places. While 10,000 meters bronze medalist Ronex Kipruto was fifth. In the senior men's 10-kilometer race, Cherotich crossed the line fast in 33 minutes and 53.6 seconds ahead of Eva Cherono, who came in second. Gideon Rono won the junior men's race as Marion Jetngetich won the junior women's race. The race also served as trials to select a team that will represent Central Rift region at the National Cross Country Championships set for the 13th of February.
Sure of it, nitakuwa kwa Olympic kwa Mwenyezi Mungu.
National natarajia niingie team, but ni uwezo wa Mungu bado. Kila kitu ni kuvumilia na uweke Mungu mbele.
Now, the national men's basketball coach Liz Mills from Australia has big plans for the Kenya Morans. Top among them is to ensure that Kenya secures a ticket to the FIBA Afro Basket Contest for the first time in 28 years. Morans need just one victory in the final round, scheduled to take place from the 19th to the 21st of next month in Yaoundé, Cameroon. Kenya is in Group B alongside Senegal, Angola and Mozambique.
We didn't play our best, I would say, in November. A lot of issues as to why. So we need to clean up what happened on court. We've got 4 main goals heading into the games in February. Most importantly is to improve, be that against Angola, Senegal and Mozambique, and show them what we can do.
What is your take on basketball here in Kenya?
Kenya basketball has been growing, especially in the last 5 years, I would say. I was in Kenya in 2015 with the ZUBL Zuku League. And what I can say from 2015 to 2021, very impressed with the skill level. It's improved a lot. These guys obviously had a great AfroCan in 2019, and they've built on that with pre-qualifiers and qualifiers. I'm really excited to see where Kenyan basketball is going.
Wishing Coach Mills all the best in her new assignment. Now, Tottenham Hotspur will be desperate to bounce back to winning ways when they take on Brighton and Hove Albion at the Amex Stadium later tonight. But first, some action from the early kickoff, where new Chelsea coach Thomas Tuchel kept his second clean sheet in a 2-0 win over Burnley. Defenders Cesar Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso were on target for the Blues.
300 games for the clubs in the 60s predominantly. He was part of the League Cup winning side here in 1965. Here's Callum Hudson-Odoi. Azpilicueta! The captain steps up. Pulisic. Here's Marcos Alonso. Oh, yes! Back in the side and marking it in the grand manner. What a goal that is from Marcos Alonso.
Now that sumptuous serving by Marcos Alonso wraps up NTV Sport. Thank you very much for your time. Have a lovely night.
All right, thanks Watson Karuma for the sporting action there, and thank you so much for being part of this broadcast till the end. That's all we had lined up for you this evening. My name is Zainab. Ismail. On our sign language interpretation this evening was Flora Atieno. Do have yourself a lovely night, but enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Presenting the new Harpic Bathroom Cleaner. Compared to ordinary detergents, its thick formulation gives you superior cleaning and kills 99.9% of germs and viruses all around the bathroom. Blue for the toilet and red for the bathroom.
When the spirit of Kenya got going that magical day, it never looked back. And now, the same spirit is ready to take Kenya to the next level, led proudly by a new generation. Kenya Kin, Shangilia, Hasulia Kenya.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust to provide effective relief and is gentle on the stomach. Try Panadol Advance for relief from headaches, body aches, and fever. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet gently breaks down in the stomach, quickly absorbs, and starts providing pain relief in 15 minutes. For fast and effective pain relief that you can trust, try Panadol Advance. This has been Medifax for Panadol.
I'm in Watamu along Kenya's coastline, which is commonly associated with tourists and white sandy beaches. But the locals have found hidden treasures